let's see what we can do here, man. We're gonna talk about the DSA, the Dick Suckers of America. So let's see, because fundamentally, the Democrat Socialists America, if you read any of their policies, and this is all things that they've discussed already, this is not up for debate. So they want to empty the prisons. They want to open the borders. I know this probably sounds crazy. It probably sounds like I'm pushing propaganda, but they actually have a representative of the DSA recently, and they asked her all these questions. She said yes. Look it up. She said yes. They want to empty all the prisons and ban prisons. No prisons. Rapists, murderers. They don't want any of them to go to jail. They want reform programs for child molesters and everybody. They want to open the borders so there's no background check. So somebody could just come in from Mexico that just murdered 3 people, rapists. No background checks for immigrants. What was the other? Oh, abolish the police. What was the other thing? Abolish ICE, which I think is interesting because most of them are immigrants. Immigrants that want to abolish immigration's enforcement. Kind of weird if you ask me, but I don't know. Liberals seem to love immigrants who want to ban immigration enforcement. Kind of weird if you ask me. And maybe I'm missing a piece of this. Maybe these immigrants are right. Maybe these immigrants are correct, and we should allow immigrants to abolish immigration's enforcement and open the border and abolish prisons and defund the police. I don't know. Yeah, I'm just curious to see, like, what is your guys' favorite DSA policy? Abolish the police and open the border and release child molesters from prison, or I don't know. Let me know what you guys think. I personally think it would be awesome to allow child molesters to enter the border without background checks. Me personally, that's my favorite DSA policy, to let murderers and child rapists enter America with no background check. I think that's a great policy. What do you guys think? I think, you know what else I think is a great DSA policy? To only vote for candidates that are backed by China. You know, like Zorhan Mandani, how his whole campaign was funded by China's Communist Party. I think we should have more candidates like that, personally. I think we should have more candidates that are backed by China's Communist Party becoming mayors of our city. Me personally, I think that China is extremely trustworthy, and I believe that their Communist Party should be able to abolish the police, defund the police. I think that China should be able to allow the abolishment of immigration's enforcement. And I think that China should be able to open our border and allow serial killers and rapists into America. What's your guys' favorite DSA policy? Those are mine. My favorite DSA policy is probably to open the borders and allow child molesters to enter with no background check, and then abolish the police and immigration's enforcement so nobody could stop them. What's the issue with Big Pharma? Nothing. No, I think Big Pharma is awesome. Actually, if you ask me personally, I only vote for candidates that are funded by Big Pharma, like Kamala Harris, Joe Biden, Obama. Because, those are the people I vote for. Kamala Harris got more money from Big Pharma than any politician ever in American history. Joe Biden was number 2 and Obama was number 3. I personally only exclusively will vote for candidates that want to abolish ICE, defund the police, are funded by Big Pharma, have a ton of support from China's Communist Party, Want to open the borders so child molesters and murderers can come in. That's just me personally. Is APAC a big? Yeah, I guess yeah. If that's what you took out of everything I just said, sure. No, yeah. I'm way more worried about one or yeah. You should be way more worried about just APAC and not China. Open borders, defund police, abolish immigration enforcement, empty out all the prisons, and just let's just only talk about APAC because that is so much more of a danger than emptying our prisons and allowing all the murderers and rapists. This is literally DSA policies. Oh, murder. Okay, so murderers are in the government, so that's a good reason to empty the prisons out and allow them to enter the country. And you know what, Uriel? I totally agree. Since there's murderers in the government, I think we should open the border and let serial killers and child rapists enter the country. And yeah, I think we should abolish police so there's no one to arrest them and there's complete unrest. Because we all know that you guys are the ones that are gonna enforce the law, right? We know that if you abolish the police, that obviously all of you Democrat voters are gonna be taking up for them and keeping us safe, right? We could just let's just abolish the police department because all the Democrat voters that want to do it, they'll protect us, you guys. After they ban guns and take away our Second Amendment, they'll protect us with like mace and bear spray and stuff. He said, abolish police and there would be no need for law, court, jails, prisons. Yeah, exactly. No, Dale, exactly. That is my favorite part about the DSA, is that we should abolish the police and empty the jails so then cartels and gangs can run the country. That's me. That's my personal favorite DSA policies. Those are my favorite. Yeah, I personally want more. I think we should have more child rapists illegally entering the country. So we should open the border up. But what are your guys' favorite Democrat socialist policies? No, but they do want to take it. I mean, they can't. They shouldn't be able to, but they want to. So they're all anti-Second Amendment. They're anti-First Amendment too. If you look at what they're doing, well, look at what they did in Minnesota. They arrested a woman for calling somebody the N-word, which I don't support that. I don't want. I don't encourage people to go around calling people the N-word. I've had people call me a cracker and shit like that. I didn't call the fucking police and try to get them arrested. It's like, god damn, they literally arrested somebody for calling someone the N-word. They charged her. I mean, they convicted her with disorderly conduct. It's crazy. Obviously, I'm being facetious here, you guys. I'm being sarcastic. I think the policies from the DSA are so fucking absurd. I can't even believe that we live in a world that people would support this. And you know what's crazy? Let's see. Americans care more about guns than health care. Well, that's not true, Westminster. And you know what? Snark is a good name for you. I actually would be willing to have a debate on universal health care. I think even though I do lean right, obviously I'm being sarcastic, I would be willing to meet you guys in the middle on universal health care, but that's a totally different topic. So which policy from the DSA do you like the most? Do you want to free all the inmates, rapists, and pedophiles from jail? Do you want bigger government, pro-establishment and pro-China? Do you want to empower big pharma? Which is your favorite DSA policy, Westminster Snark? No, Al Munson, you think it's dumb to empty out the prisons and allow pedophiles to go and then we'll defund the police so no one's there to arrest them? I think it's a great idea, personally. Oh, yeah, trust me. Listen, I know all about being spied on. If you have the slightest of a YouTube presence, I'm not gonna get into it because I'm gonna sound really fucking crazy. Ask anybody that does YouTube. Like once you get monetized, there's a different level of surveillance you go under. At this point, though, now I am worried about the flock cameras being installed in everybody's cars. I fucking hope they do something about that. But as far as like surveillance, I don't really do anything wrong. I mean, they could surveil me all day and I won't really find out shit anyway. I'm not doing anything wrong. If extra surveillance stops children from getting kidnapped and women from getting raped and shit like that, and people getting murdered, I almost would support. I'm really conflicted on that one right there. As far as that goes, privacy, I'm conflicted on that one. I'm also conflicted on universal healthcare. I don't support universal healthcare, but I also don't support letting these private insurance companies run amok. I actually have some fairly progressive ideas on healthcare. If anybody's interested, I mean, if you guys want to have that conversation, tell me what you think. What is your perfect? What would be like the perfect insurance healthcare industry for you? Me personally, I don't think it should all be given to the government's control. Like universal healthcare in theory would end up with the government having a full monopoly over the healthcare industry. I don't want that, but at the same time, I don't want private healthcare companies to be able to just fucking deny people after you've been paying them so much. I think that with private healthcare, for instance, if you're paying $200-300 a month for your insurance and you don't use it all year, the company has made all of this money off of you, and then when you go to the hospital, you still have to pay a copay. I think that's bullshit. I think that it should be more similar to a 401k. I feel like it should be more of like an investment. So if I'm paying $300 a month to an insurance company, they should only be able to keep a percentage of that because they do need to make a profit. I mean, at the end of the day, it's still a business. I still want it to be not privatized. What is the fucking word? Well, I want it to be a free market, so there's competition. But at this point, it doesn't matter if there's competition because they all deny claims. So personally, with healthcare, I'm not totally against the left on the healthcare thing. I understand why they bring it up, and I think it's an important conversation to have. But my take on it is just something I've been thinking about lately. Actually, from talking to one of my liberal friends who did help me kind of clean up my vision of it. Believe it or not, you guys, it is possible to have like objective conversations these days. And yeah, I mean, what do you guys think of that? So if you pay $300 a month for healthcare insurance and you don't use it the whole year, don't you feel like some of that money should be put off to the side, almost like a savings account? Because if you're not using the insurance, then that means the insurance company is just putting it all up in their fucking CEO's pockets, and then you still got to pay a copay. If I'm paying you $300 a month for insurance and I don't use this shit, but I need it next year or something, I shouldn't have to pay a copay. That money should be already taken care of. Maybe there's like a limit. Like once you've had this insurance for 6 months and you've already paid this amount, there's no copays anymore. Because there comes a point where the insurance companies are just, it's 100%. Think about this. If the insurance companies, if you never end up needing that insurance, then you are just, it's 100% profit. How crazy is that? So I'm not really on board with the universal healthcare, but giving the insurance companies like free profit is crazy to me too. I think that there needs to be somewhere in the middle, because I don't like the idea of regulations, but I guess that would be a regulation. I guess that might be a place where I'm willing to meet you guys in the middle. Let me read your comments here. I don't want to just be talking my fucking head off. Yeah, universal healthcare would be a mess. But so my thing is, I'm not really saying to change the system. As far as like Medicare, Medicaid, stuff like that, I'm not saying we should change that. I also don't think people that are middle class or anything should be able to get free insurance. I think that if they're spending $200 or $300 a month on insurance, however, and they don't use it for the whole year, and the insurance company just made 100% profit off of them, they should never have to pay a copay. I mean, what do you guys think about that? I think there's somewhere where we could meet in the middle. Mexico released the blacks from slavery. No, the abolitionists freed the blacks from slavery. They were white men. Would would I prefer privatization or um? I mean, I want to keep private healthcare, but I want it. I guess I do want it regulated. I fucking hate the word regulation, but I think that this is basically, yeah, I guess you have to regulate them because then they're just, if you don't, they're just gonna be robbing us. So I think, like I said, if you're paying for insurance for a year straight and you never use it, and they just made 100% profit off of you, you shouldn't have to pay a copay. You wouldn't have to fucking, you shouldn't be denied anything. If you've been paying these people all this time and never used it, it should be sort of like a savings account. Like, all right, this percentage goes to the insurance company. We know we're paying them for a service, but this amount should be available regardless because you put this much in. So maybe it's like however much you pay into the system, they should be able to keep a lower percentage too. We should be able to keep a higher percentage. I have the wrong priority. Explain. I care more about people not using healthcare than those that can't afford drugs. Wait. So I care more about people not using healthcare than those that can't afford drugs. What would give you that idea? Yeah, Snark. I'm not really quite following you here. So are you saying, all right? So are you saying then that if it's someone that does use the insurance often, then you don't want them to be left behind? Correct? Mom dummy. Yeah, you already know the dude's a fucking dork. He's fucking gay too. Did you guys know Mondami is actually gay? He's not really a Muslim. And his wife knows he's gay. That's why you never see her with him. She actually goes on these retreats for months at a time to get away from him because she hates him. It's a fake marriage that just to make it look like he's actually Muslim. They don't want people to know Mondani is gay because if they find out, then they'll know he's a fake Muslim. You're not allowed to be gay as a Muslim. So Westminster, yeah, I'm with you, bro. I'll be honest. I really want to try to get this message out to people on the right too, because I am on the right. I am a Trump supporter. I know that drives some people crazy, but I always try to tell people, like, I'm not totally against you guys on everything. I think we're just so used to fucking fighting with each other that we don't even hear each other out. But I do try to hear you guys out, and like I said, my ideas have become more nuanced because I maintain friendships with people that are on the left. And I think if we could do that more, we'll be able to get somewhere. The truth always lies in the middle. So yeah, he's definitely gay. Well, no, there's nothing wrong with being gay. It's that when you cover it up so people will still get votes for you. See, the thing is, though, is that the LGBT community supports Mamdani. And I feel like maybe they'd even support him more if they were like, oh, like he's one of us. He can understand us more. Obviously, they're not voting for you because you're gay, but he doesn't have to lie about being a Muslim. And he doesn't have to have a fake marriage to convince people to vote for him. But that's the thing with politicians. They have to be married. He has to maintain some kind of like, the Democrats are losing male voters. So they're so desperate to hang on to a couple men, they can't run a candidate that's like, he's not married. He's like this weird dude like Mamdani, just like a spoiled brat, never had a job. He's like wanted to be a rapper, made a bunch of shitty ass rap music. Like, our left would be right, and well, there's conservative and there's liberal. So my views. Well, no, Trump actually had to work. Like, Trump ran businesses. Trump busted his ass. Mamdani never had a job. Literally, Mamdani never had a job. He always had everything handed down to him. Did you know that Mamdani, he's an anti-capitalist, anti-billionaire, and his whole campaign is funded by billionaire capitalists? Did you know that? Yeah, Trump worked his whole life. Trump worked his ass off his whole life. Yeah, his parents had money. I know that. I'm just saying, Trump actually had to work. Mom Donnie didn't. Mom Donnie is a spoiled little brat who just moved here. He's an immigrant that wants to abolish immigration's customs. Just think about this, bro. Snark, meet me in the middle here. Don't you think it's a little crazy to be an immigrant that's trying to abolish immigration enforcement? Like, you think that? Yeah, Trump, yeah, bro. Look up Trump's history. He's that fucking grinder. Pause. Yeah, Trump worked, man. Trump's father told him how to work. I mean, look, here, let me put the camera on my face. Show my beautiful little magatard face. Yeah, Trump always worked. His assets would have made more money if it sat in a bank. No, it wouldn't have. That's absolutely... You listen, bro. Be objective. Don't go with these bullshit narratives. I'm not going to sit here and defend Trump on everything. I want you to know that. This picture is glitching out real crazy. I might just turn it the fuck off. I want you to know that, like, I'm not somebody that's going to sit here and defend Trump of all the allegations or none of that. No, I don't need to check anything. He first of all, he currently still owns some of the most elite golf courses across the world. He owned casinos that made billions of dollars. No, if he put what did his father gave him? I think his father gave him like $4 million. They were lying, said his dad gave him like $100 million or something crazy. His dad gave him a couple mil, which is a lot of fucking money, don't get me wrong. But if you put $4 million in the bank, it's not going to magically turn into $11 billion, bro. I don't know where you guys get this information from. Then you say, look it up. Like, that doesn't even... Look what up? Fine having the government being stakeholders in corporations. That's funny. I noticed all you guys repeating that same talking point. Hey, J-Moo, do they send out a message or a notification to all the liberals? Hey, this is the new talking point. We need you guys to all repeat the same thing over and over again. This is a new thing. Just this week it started. You guys are all repeating the same thing over and over again. And then you wonder why people think you're retarded. So, the government being stakeholders in corporations, like name some. Because you guys always make these vague statements like that. I'm still waiting. So tell me what stakeholders the government is in. What are they stakeholding? What corporations are they stakeholders of? My fault. I'm not retarded. I swear to God. No, he didn't inherit 413 million. That's bullshit. All right. Whatever he inherited is irrelevant. He had already made mad money before his father passed away. He was already making millions, bro. Look up what Trump did. He was a realtor. He was an investor and a developer. And any developer in New York City will tell you he is one of the best salesmen, one of the best developers and realtors to ever do it in New York City. So I could sit here and listen to some liberals and what their opinions are, or I could listen to other billionaires that were developers in New York City. Who do you think is a better source? You or them? No, but what I'm saying, if I gave you $1 million right now, Snart, you wouldn't become the president of the United States and you wouldn't have $11 billion. No, I'm not a better source than anybody. I'm just saying, I would listen to someone's opinion on Trump that is a billionaire, that knew him personally, worked in the same field as him, than some random person that's politically biased. A lot of these people don't even like Trump and they'll admit it. He bailed out his casino. No, he didn't. He claimed bankruptcy. He claimed bankruptcy. At least get the story right. No, bankruptcy? Bro. Alright. I wish I didn't have to correct you guys on fucking everything. Westminster Snark. Have you ever been to Atlantic City? Do you know anything about Atlantic City? Because if not, you really shouldn't be talking about it in the first place. But I'll entertain you anyway. So how many times have you been to Atlantic City? How familiar are you with the casino industry in Atlantic City? On a scale of 1 to 10. Is that what we're doing? We're answering questions with questions. Just move the goalposts around, change the subject, answer questions with questions. If that's the kind of conversation you want to have, I'm not really interested in that one. No, he's not American. He's in the UK. He's not American. He doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about. So, but not Westminster Snark. You're saying you know all about Trump's casino businesses, right? So how many times have you been to Atlantic City? Or what qualifies you to speak on a casino industry? That's fine. It's a civilized place. So what qualifies you to speak on a casino industry? Serious question. Because the casino industry in Atlantic City tanked. It wasn't Trump. When they first of all, when they legalized gambling in Pennsylvania, that damn near crippled the casino industry in Atlantic City. Then when they legalized all the gambling apps, that fucked Atlantic City. So you should really probably do your homework. Most of the casinos that were there collapsed. None of them are owned by the same people. You're an accountant, so what the fuck does that matter? Being an accountant does not have anything to do with knowing the casino industry. Matter of fact, I'm not going to act like I know the casino industry. I know what happened in Atlantic City. As somebody from the area who grew up going to Atlantic City, I actually watched it in real time. So you might be an accountant. That's cool. That has nothing to do with you knowing about what happened in the casino industry. Clearly, you don't know what bankruptcy is, so I don't know where you learned to be an accountant. Clearly, you don't know why people claim bankruptcy. So I don't know who are you an accountant for? Like, what are you an accountant for, like the fucking public library or something? Like, Democrats are an arm of the king. Yeah, I mean, the Democrats at this point are an arm of the Chinese Communist Party. I mean, if you just do your homework, and so is your government, Snark. You said it's civilized where you live. You got fucking Pakistan, Afghanistan gangs going around raping all your women. You say that you're more civilized in America. What are you, out of your fucking mind? You know that 250,000 white English women have been raped in the past couple years in your country, and you're trying to tell me that it's civilized? No, it's not. Your government doesn't give a fuck about you or your women. Especially your women. They really don't give a fuck about them. I mean, they're letting rape gangs go around and rape all your women, and then they let the men out of prison. So fucking civilized. God damn, I wish we were that civilized. Well, actually we are. Our Democrats let the fucking rapists out too. No, it's not propaganda spread by Russia. No, I'm saying OSR. I'm saying if he's actually an accountant, then how the fuck doesn't he know what bankruptcy is? Because he clearly has no idea what he's talking about. He's saying Trump's a failed businessman. And I'm assuming he's saying that because of the bankruptcies. He didn't clarify. He didn't clarify why he said that. So I'm just giving him a limb to hang on at this point. Well, he's hanging himself, honestly. But what's propaganda spread by Russia? The actual numbers and statistics that are reported by literally everybody. That's propaganda from Russia. See, now you're reaching, bro. As soon as I felt like it could possibly be a productive conversation, then you go to the propaganda by Russia. Now you just totally discredited yourself. Plus, you don't even know what the fuck people do bankruptcy for. No, bro. I have a ton of friends in the UK. I have a lot of people from the UK that join this live on a regular basis. You're literally the only person I've seen defending the rape gangs. And you say, I'm spreading Russian propaganda. You're literally sitting here defending the guys that are raping your women. So I'm a propagandist. Those cars pulling up on me a little funny. I'm not in a civilized area, as you would say. What is this guy doing? You can't name other billionaires that went bankrupt. You know what? I can't. I wish I could pull up Google, but I'm on live. Is there anybody that has access to a PC? Just type in billion, bro. 50 Cent went bankrupt. Like, man, going bankrupt. All right, you don't fucking understand what a bankruptcy is. So let me explain it to you, dumbass. I'll explain it to you in direct relevance to Atlantic City. So, since I have to explain this to you guys, the casino business in Atlantic City took a shit, and the whole city of Atlantic City went to shit. It's like a crime-ridden war zone now. It's not anybody's fault. I mean, I'll be objective here. I'm not going to blame Democrats for everything. The casino industry got legalized in Pennsylvania and Delaware, and then they legalized the gambling apps. So the casino industry in Atlantic City tanked. So, like, almost all the casino owners there had to claim bankruptcy before they completely lost everything. But you guys don't know that, so you just, like, say that it was exclusive to Trump. You should do a little more, like, unbiased research. Don't just, when you look up information on Google, don't just look up, like, ways to bash Trump. Try to find out the full story. A lot of you guys have no idea what the fuck you're talking about. And you got the right one, because I do my research way more thorough than any of you. You guys keep talking about him being in it. First of all, OSR, get off his nuts, bro. You haven't said anything of any value so far. I'm still waiting. I'm still waiting for OSR to say anything intelligent. All he does is dick ride this Westminster. Isn't this just a great picture? Look at this one. Here's the other gay Muslim. This is my second favorite picture. This is my second favorite gay Muslim in the DSA. Am I reading these messages? Yeah, nobody's saying anything intelligent. They're just like, oh, you're dumb. You look like a fool. What else? You don't know how things work. I know businesses works like that in the U.S. Yeah, I'm reading your comments. None of you have made any point so far. All right, so I don't know anything. I get it. That's all. That's literally all you guys have to say. Like, saying someone is wrong or saying you don't understand how this works, that's not an argument. No, OSRS, if you think that Trump is the only billionaire that's claimed bankruptcy, there's absolutely no reason to talk to you. Like, literally. But anyway, moving on from you. Tax evasion, you like Hunter Biden? Not. First of all, Trump released his tax information. He didn't evade taxes. It was the Bidens that did. Did you know that Joe and Jill Biden live on a $3 million estate in Delaware, not far from here? Did you know that they live on a fucking $3 million estate, and they claimed that they made 250 grand? Oh, what was it? No, they said they made 500 grand the whole year. Them two combined, the two of them combined. So like they said, they both made 500K combined. It might have been less than that. Somebody fact check me. Whatever the fuck they made combined, bro. Look up Biden's tax return. You want to talk about fake taxes? Look up the fact that Hunter Biden literally scammed the government for $100,000 worth of taxes, and his father pardoned him. Look up that before you start talking about. See, this is what you guys do. You just anything that your people are guilty of, you blame somebody else for it. That's why you vote for gay Muslims like El Said. Nah, yeah, Trump doesn't have 34 felonies. He technically does because the Democrats made them up. Trump, well, yeah, El Said is gay too. They're all these DSA Muslims. They're not really Muslims. They're gay, and they're fake Muslims. They're just doing it to get like the fucking liberal vote because you guys just will vote for anybody if they're a minority. But oh, the 34 felonies. You wanted to bring that up. So are you talking about when they charged him with falsifying documents for 120,000, which is a misdemeanor, and then somehow split it into 34 felonies? Is that what you're talking about? Are you talking about the misdemeanor that the Biden administration put on him and turned into 34 felonies? Is that what you're talking about? I just want to make sure we're talking about the same case here. Do you guys even know what happened in the fucking case, or do you just like saying, oh, 34 felonies? Do you just like repeating shit you hear other people say because it sounds like a good argument? This guy, Fox News, unbiased, courts they ruled against, speaking words, blah, 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 blah. Anyway. If it was a Democrat, no, if the Trump administration charged a Democrat with a misdemeanor and then turned it into 34 fucking felonies, no, I wouldn't be okay with that. I'm not like you. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I don't want people going after, just like this. You remember how you guys celebrated Charlie Kirk getting murdered? If somebody on the left got murdered, like an influencer, no matter how much I hated him, I wouldn't fucking celebrate it. I would say, damn, that makes us look like shit. We don't do shit like that. That's only the people on your side. You murder people and then you celebrate it. We don't do that on my side. We don't do shit like that. We also wouldn't celebrate fake cases. Like, for instance, if they gave Trump a misdemeanor and then split it into 34 felonies, if they did that to Biden, I wouldn't be proud of that. That's like I don't know if any of you guys watch football, but when the other team's like main player is injured and you beat them, it doesn't really count. In my book, I don't like beating a team that's already injured. It's a bullshit win. So if you're gonna give Trump 34 felonies, at least have 34 felonies to give him. They didn't even have one felony. They had one misdemeanor and they turned it into 34 felonies. Maybe you didn't, but your whole fucking party did. All the liberals and you know how many liberals we see on here? You know how many liberal kids have come on here and told me I'm gonna get Charlie Kirk? They love it. They absolutely loved seeing that man get murdered. And they assume I'm like this big Charlie Kirk follower. I respect him, but I didn't even really know that much about him. Then he got murdered, and now people always making fun of him and laughing and celebrating. Only people on the left do that. I don't know like how you guys don't recognize that. You never see us doing shit like that. You've never seen someone from the right run into a church and murder 3 innocent children. You've never seen someone on the right do that. You'll only see someone on the left murder innocent children because they're praying to God. Never see someone on the right. I haven't. Have you? Yeah, citizen or not, for real, bro. Like, we're talking to the same people that won't pass the Save America Act. Why wouldn't you pass the Save America Act? Like, you really want illegal immigrants to vote that bad? Why? Because you know that the Democrats can't win without them. The Democrats can't fucking win without illegal immigrants voting. Otherwise, why wouldn't you want ID? They're not even asking for a special voter ID. They're just asking for you to use your driver's license or your state ID. Just say, yes, I am who I say I am. Like, Mondani wants you to use ID to go in a grocery store, but not to vote. Crazy. Johnny, yeah, hell yeah. How old was Charlie too? He was young. He was young, man. Yeah, I didn't really know much about him. That when I started going back and looking him up, I was like, damn, he was a sharp dude, and he really gave everybody a fair chance. People just got mad because he shut them all the fuck down. They couldn't handle him. KKK? What? The hell are you talking about? The KKK was the Democrats, not us. That was your people, was the KKK. That's why you're so obsessed with bringing in illegal immigrants for free slave labor. Just like your party wanted to keep the slaves, the black slaves, now they want to keep the illegal immigrants for cheap labor. And some of them they don't even pay. Look up all the little children that cross the border by themselves, and the Democrats sold them off to the highest bidder who used them as slave laborers. It was like, what, 200, 300,000 of them. New York Times did a piece on a kid that was 14. He was sent across the border by himself, by his fucking scumbag parents, who just told him cross the border. They gave him to some cartels. They got him across the border. Some slaughterhouse picked him up. And this kid was 14. They had him working in a slaughterhouse overnight. He was an illegal immigrant, so he couldn't call anybody for help or anything. These people had, and the Biden administration was aware of what was going on. Gaza is a genocide. Well, Gaza celebrated, well, not Gaza, Palestine celebrated 9/11, so they love seeing Americans die. I don't really know what would be different. I don't love seeing them die. I'm not like them, who celebrates thousands of Americans being murdered for no fucking reason. I'm not like the Palestinians. You know what I mean? I'm not like people on the left that celebrate when people get murdered. I'm not like that. Tree of Life synagogue shooting. And who did that? Who did that? Who is the party that hates the Jews? Who is the party that's constantly talking about how much they hate these guys? The same people that call us Nazis? Those are the ones that fucking hate the Jews and want to wipe them off the face of the earth. How ironic. How ironic. Imagine literally being a Nazi, calling everyone else Nazis. Imagine voting for a guy like the dude in, what was it, New Hampshire? Or Maine? Planter. He had a fucking Nazi tattoo on his chest. And the Democrats voted for him. And then they go around and call everybody Nazis. They vote for a guy with a Nazi tattoo. They talk about wiping Jews off the face of the earth. Then they call us Nazis. Like, are you fucking out of your mind? Apparently. How dare you talk about, man, shut up. Fucking, you're not gonna catch me with all that little emotional bullshit, dog. I'm not a gay Muslim like this guy is. Not me. How dare. And did you say I was... Yeah, I mean, obviously seeing children get murdered is absolutely a heartbreaking thing. Bro, these people keep fucking walking by looking at my car all crazy. I'm about to shoot one of them. Gregory Bowers did the white supremacist did the synagogue shooting. Okay, what the fuck does that have to do with us? Nothing. You guys are so desperate. You guys are so desperate to make a talking point. A transgender shooter with Democrat talking points with Democrat talking points engraved on their gun, ran into a church and murdered 2 innocent children. And you're talking about, white supremacists ran in a synagogue. What the fuck does that have to do with anything? And then you say I'm the one talking about children dying. You're literally discounting 2 innocent children being murdered because they believed in Jesus Christ. They went to a Bible study and some psychopath transgender with like shit about capitalists and all this inscribed on their gun. Democrat talking points. Ran into a church, murdered 2 innocent children. And you want to talk about white supremacy. What is wrong with you, dude? Illegal immigrants can 100% vote in elections. OSR. OSR, tell me something. What is the Save America Act? OSR. Do you know what the Save America Act is? And do you know why we need it? Because if not, you should shut your bitch ass up. Actually, you know what? I ain't gonna wait for you to answer questions that you don't know the answer to. So in California, they don't have to use ID to vote. You could literally go in for a federal election in California, and you can just use someone's name that's a registered voter, and you can just use their name and vote, and they don't check your ID. But according to you, illegals can't vote. So I guess we should just trust them because they have so much fucking integrity, right? We should just trust. Oh no, they won't take advantage of this system. We won't ask anybody for ID to vote because that's racist. Because black people are too fucking stupid to get IDs. That's what you think? Gonna disenfranchise black and brown voters? Is that what you're scared of? Because black people and brown people can't get IDs or something? Why would you be against the Save America Act? They literally don't ask for people's IDs. They're not allowed to. Look up the laws in California. They're not allowed to ask for ID when you go to the voting booth. So you can just take a registered voter's information and vote with it. But in your mind, we can just trust these illegals because they have so much integrity. These illegal immigrants are just known for having integrity, aren't they? We should just trust that they're not going to take advantage of the system. No, you didn't give me any shootings by right-wing terrorists. Synagogue had nothing to do with politics. This is bullshit, bro. You're using examples to deflect. You're trying to put accountability on someone that's not accountable. The synagogue shooting had nothing to do with politics. The church shooting, where the transgender murdered 2 innocent children, was all about politics. Literally, they had Democrat talking points inscribed on a gun. Then you bring up some other shit to change the topic because it's uncomfortable. You hate admitting that your party is full of literal psychopath transgender murderers. Then I say that and you're like, oh, what's your problem with transgenders? Like, you guys will find a way to spin literally anything. So there's no examples you have. So non-citizens should not vote. Democrats want non-citizens to vote. That's the only way they could, yeah, exactly. That's the only way they can fucking win, bro. It's the only way they could win. Here, I'm going to ask a question here to the people. Hang on, y'all. Just bear with me a second here. You could discuss amongst each other real quick. I'm just setting up a poll. So why won't the left pass the SAVE Act? Is it because they can't win without illegal immigrants? Or are black and brown people too stupid to get driver's licenses and IDs? What do you think, Democrats? So I'm gonna leave the last option on there, the Jews, because I know you guys like blaming everything on the Jews. So we had to leave that one on there for you guys. Non-citizens can't vote. Oh no, I already responded to that one. Let me catch up, you guys. My bad. Yo, James, communist transgenders. You know what? But then they added another one on. So they're communist Muslim transgenders. Don't forget that they're followers of Islam and they love Allah. They are communist gays like him. This is another one of them. Another one of the gay Muslims. Look at it. Tell me that motherfucker's not gay, bro. Tell me that man's not fucking gay, bro. Not a chance. Not a chance, bro. There's not a chance that man doesn't get pegged. When Republicans start dying off in these rural lands that were defunded specifically for tax breaks. Defunded in what way? How do you defund an entire area? What does that even mean? Are you talking about farmers? Or are you just repeating shit that you overheard? Because your comment makes no fucking sense. I know the talking point you're using, but I also know that I know that you have no idea what you're talking about. Because you said it wrong. Worthless comment, Snark. Totally worthless comment. I'm not here to play Kumbaya and put my lighters in the air. Here, this one's for Snark, you guys. This one's for Snark. Kumbaya, my lord. Kumbaya. This is for Snark. Everybody put your lighters in the air. Let's all sing Kumbaya. Kumbaya, my lord. Kumbaya. What up, Mike? I don't know. We might be. I just want to hop on here for a little bit, talk some shit. Almonson, my bad. I just seen a comment. So, yo, YouTube really fucks with my views. There's like 10 people talking in the comments, but it says I have 2 viewers. YouTube, fuck you, YouTube. Stop doing that. The other day it said I had 0 viewers, and there was like 20 people in the comment section. YouTube it's alright though. I still get paid from it. It doesn't even. They just do that because then less people join in. It's fine. Better question is, why won't Republicans pass the SAVE Act? Well, there's a few Republicans that won't pass it because they also need illegal immigrants to vote for them because they're in tune with the Democrats. They're doing the same thing the Democrats are doing. As a whole, pretty much the entire Republican Party is trying to pass the SAVE Act. So when you say a better question, it's not actually a better question. It actually is part of the question, which I know the answer to. See, you're trying to answer a question with another question because you know the answer to your question is not favorable to the people you are defending. Next. OSR, I gave you a chance to explain it. What do you mean defunding? You said what did you say about defunding rural areas? What is that? What do you mean defunding? First of all, Trump is the one that put money to rebuild their hospitals. The Democrats were fighting against it. They tried to block Trump from rebuilding the hospitals in rural areas. They tried to block Trump from the billions of dollars he was giving to farmers to get them on their feet after Biden forced them to kill millions of chickens, sending them into all types of debt. Now you guys blame Trump for all the debt, even though that's what he inherited. That's why he passed all these bills to help them, to save their hospitals. There was multiple. You remember the government shut down the first one? Yeah, one of the things that the Democrats were voting against was funding for rural hospitals. So before you say comments like that, you should probably know what you're talking about. Especially if you're gonna like try to sound like I'm stupid for it. They'd block Trump if he found a cure for cancer. Oh, if Trump told these people to not eat their shit, they'd have their head in the toilet right now. getting paid not to pass it. Yeah, bro. Yeah, I mean, this is all just part of their this boy keeps walking up on me like real weird. How's it going?
Yeah.
Good, good. He's alright. I think he just it's like a big parking lot, so people walk around the perimeter, and a lot of them just like walk by and look right at my fucking car. It's kind of annoying. Anyway, let me catch up with you guys here. Why are rural Republicans going to their local town hall meetings crying that their premiums are only not going up, but they're also losing access to hospitals? Well, Trump is the one that's trying to pass bills to fund rural hospitals. I already answered that question, and he just went and like asked it in another way. You need to educate yourself. Yeah, it was in the big beautiful bill. Okay, so your source is the big beautiful bill that literally has funding for rural hospitals. That's your source of why rural hospitals are being defunded, because the bill literally funded them. What are you, fucking retarded? The bill actually says the total opposite of what you're saying it does. What the fuck is wrong with some of you guys? And then you got the nerve to say I'm like illiterate or try to make it sound like I'm dumb. And you don't even know what the fuck you're talking about. Yo, James, it is fucking bullshit, bro. I literally don't know one single black person that doesn't have an ID. I don't know any Latino people that don't have an ID. I also don't hang around a bunch of illegal immigrants, however. And I have a lot. My girl is half Mexican. So they could definitely miss me with any of that type of shit. Her family, her father's side is 100% Mexican. All have IDs, bro. All of them. Believe it or not. It's not all Republicans. There's a few Republicans that won't pass it. The majority of Republicans almost unanimously are trying to pass the SAVE Act. The Democrats are unanimously blocking it. No Democrats support it, except for like 2 of them. So you guys keep referring back to Republicans trying to blame them for it. Pretty much the whole Republican Party is trying to get it passed, aside from a few bad actors that none of us respect. So you're trying to put that on us. At least I'm willing to be objective. You won't even hold people in your party accountable. Because when we bring it up, you just say, oh, well, the Republicans are doing this. You won't even give a direct answer. The Democrats are unanimously blocking the SAVE Act. You have a few bad actors in the right, and I'll answer your question. They can't win without illegal immigrants voting for them. They're using the same fucking system Democrats are. Look at Thune and look at all these scumbags that are doing it. These are people that are not respected by the party. The people that are respected by the party, look how many votes we got to pass the SAVE Act. Look how many of those are Democrats. I think like Fetterman might be the only one. I mean, seriously, you guys come in here acting like you know so much, have no clue what the fuck you're talking about. It's crazy. Yeah, Duke, you know what I'm saying? And Mondani is the worst. That Mondani doesn't want you to have to use ID to vote, but he wants you to use ID to get groceries because he's scared people will take advantage of the system. Oh, so you're saying that if there's no proof of ID, then people might take advantage of the system? Yeah, that's why we want to pass the fucking SAVE Act. Exactly. I don't know why these people have such a hard time. They can't even fucking stand on it either. They try to make up all these excuses. Bro said the bill failed with I like how you said only 52 Republicans voting. That's like the whole Republican Party. I like how you said only 52 Republicans. Like that's not pretty much all of the Republicans. I like how you didn't mention that the entire fucking Democrat Party blocked it. That's very convenient of you. Uterus. I'm just gonna call you you. I'm gonna call you Doof. Yeah, that was very convenient of you, Doof, to say only 52 Republicans. Yeah, how many Republicans are there? You fucking bozo. How many Democrats blocked it? Now post that. Post that. So now you're bringing up healthcare. Now you're trying to change the subject. That's very standard. I'm not letting you change the subject. We're only going to talk about what I feel like talking about. If I feel like talking about healthcare, we'll talk about healthcare. You're not dictating how this conversation goes. Seriously, I don't think you should smoke. All right. Imagine getting a dog walked by people that don't live in my country. I'm embarrassed. Cool. 53 Republican Senate seats. All Democrats voted against it. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. So there's 53 Republican seats. So what did you mean when you said only 52? So what did you mean when you said only 52 Republicans voted against it? What do you mean by only 52? If there's only 53, then that means a whole fucking party. But you said, oh, only 52 of them. Only the entire fucking party voted to pass it. None of the Democrats did. So it's the Republicans' fault. Bro, what? No, seriously, some of y'all, and you wonder why we call you libtards, because some of y'all motherfuckers is literally retarded. How am I going to pay for cancer treatment? What does that have to do with the SAVE Act? Is the SAVE Act and cancer treatment somehow connected, or are you trying to change the subject? Yeah, Mitch didn't even vote. Yeah, I know. I know, bro. Who was the other one? Thune, right? Bro, you're like saying this. You're giving me information like literally everybody that hasn't done a fraction of research doesn't know this. You're acting like everybody doesn't already know this shit. We were talking about healthcare, and me and you did have like somewhat of an agreement. Now you're trying to change the subject because you realize how fucking retarded you guys sound talking about blocking the SAVE Act. So now you're trying to change the subject. Very convenient of you. So Westminster, why do you think they're trying to block the SAVE Act? Westminster, why do you think they're trying to block the SAVE Act? The Democrats and the 2 Republicans. I smoke, I vape, I drink. I got plenty of vices. Don't worry about me, bro. Don't worry about me. And I'm in better health than like everybody I know. I've been fucking smoking since I was like 11 years old. I had a dysfunctional ass upbringing. I'm one of those uneducated losers you guys talk about. You know the working class that you claim to support? The people that you call uneducated? Yeah, I'm one of those. So tell me why you think the SAVE Act shouldn't pass. Why do you agree with the Democrats that we shouldn't require ID to vote? Just one of you Democrats in the chat, tell me why you don't want to have to show ID when you vote. And tell me why we're supposed to just trust illegal immigrants. So y'all think we're supposed to trust illegal immigrants. Yeah, now y'all motherfuckers is quiet and you want to change the subject. That's what I thought. Next. That's what I do, man. That's what I do, baby. Why? I don't know. You mean what? Do I need a good reason? Helen, what's up, girl? How you doing tonight? Make IDs free? Bro, ID is like $30. So then you think that black people and brown people can't afford a $30 ID? Is that what you're saying? So it's literally illegal to not have an ID or driver's license at least, or at least the state ID. But you're saying if you have to show ID to vote, then that's a tax. So you're saying that's unfair. You shouldn't have to get an ID. So you're saying that if you can't afford $30 to get an ID, you should just be able to vote without one. And you shouldn't have to prove who you are. You shouldn't even have to prove you're a citizen because $30 is too expensive. Is that the issue? Because my ID lasts for like fucking like 6 years. I paid for it one time. So you're saying paying $30 for an ID once every like fucking 8 years or however it works. Florida is like 8 years. PA I think is like 6. So you're saying paying $30 once every 6 years, that's too much to ask. That is going to disenfranchise voters if we have to make them buy a $30 ID to prove their citizenship. So you think you would rather have illegal immigrants voting than have people go buy a $30 ID. That'll be good for years and years and years. So just making them pay $30 once every 6 years, that's unreasonable to the point we should just not even check citizenship, risking that illegal immigrants might vote. That's what you're saying? Is that your argument? Oh yeah, we got a nice little, we're in a nice little spot back here. I found a little spot kind of back in the cut. I tried to find a spot back in the cut, but these motherfucking people are walking all around. I gotta move them. This bull right here in particular is creeping me the fuck out, y'all. He looks like a bull there. I'm gonna just let y'all look at the gay Muslim over here while I relocate myself. It's weird. It's like this bull. It's this bull. He's walking around this parking lot. Now he's just walking, like doing laps for health purposes, but he keeps walking like right next to my fucking car. And I looked at him. I was like, "Hey, how's it going?" And he said, "How's it going?" He was friendly, but I don't understand why he's got to keep walking all close to my fucking car. I'm just driving like across the street. You know what, bro? It's just like there's a lot of sketchy motherfuckers where I live, and you just kind of gotta always be a little aware. You know what I mean? Fuck, I thought there was a park I could go into. Hang on, y'all. Damn, they got some big ass houses. Y'all want to see these mansions? See, the socialists don't want us to be able to live in nice houses like these. The socialists don't want the black community to be able to gain generational wealth either. They want to tax everybody so fucking bad that it's impossible. So the only people that would be able to be wealthy in a socialist and a Democrat's perfect world, the only people that would be able to have this kind of money are the billionaire capitalists that fund them. Like Neville Singham, George Soros, the billionaire capitalists that fund Mondani to push an anti-capitalist, anti-billionaire movement. Those are the only ones that the Democrats want to have these nice things. So in black communities, brown communities, working class, all the communities that they say that they advocate for, they're not going to give any of us an opportunity to have any of these nice things. I mean, as soon as you make $1 million, they want to tax the fuck out of you. So the only people that are going to be able to keep that money are the people that already have it. And obviously, a billionaire capitalist that's funding their entire campaign isn't going to give them all their money. They're just trying to get all the competition out of the way. Is that not obvious? Like, are there people out there that are this retarded that is not completely obvious? Now I'm kind of interested to see some more of these houses. This is sick back here. I actually never been back here. Yeah, I'm like, because I'm like, the hood is right down the street. So I didn't even realize there was like all these fucking mansions back here. Good thing you said pull. Let me buckle the seatbelt up. That's like the fucking dead battery in the smoke alarm. This is like the car version. That's why you said a poll tax. Nah, dude, you know what? If you can't see how ridiculous your argument is, it's almost like hard for me to even take you serious. So you'd rather have illegal immigrants voting than have people go buy an ID? Is that what you're saying? So you're saying that making someone have ID to vote is taxing them to vote? Like, so who taxing who though? Who is it that you're suggesting doesn't have IDs? Are you saying nobody has IDs, so it's like they're taxing everybody? Or are you talking about black and brown voters? You think that they don't have IDs? Who exactly is paying a poll tax? What group of people are you suggesting don't have IDs to the point where they won't be able to vote unless they pay this quote-unquote poll tax you're talking about? What group of people? Because I know every time I hear this argument, you guys are talking about black and brown communities. So I'm assuming, so you're saying that black and brown people don't have IDs and driver's licenses, right? Now, Westminster, I see what you're trying to do right now, so I am going to completely ban you if you keep playing them little games. I'm going to let you talk, though, if you stay on topic, but if you want to play them little games trying to, like, make me sound bad and get me that way, then I'm going to ban you. Let me think. I'm trying to think of where the fuck I'm at, where I could go park somewhere. It's just like, now I understand why everybody's so fucking nosy over here. Whenever you're in these like rich areas, everybody's walking around. It's like, maybe I should just go back to the hood. Fuck. I thought I had a nice little spot where I could like fall back. These motherfuckers are all up on my dick. I'm about to go piss in this bush because I'm an uneducated maggot. You know what I'm saying? Why do we need this new law? So Juanita, so you think that, so you don't want people to have to prove citizenship when they go to vote? That's what, so you think, so Juanita, do you think it's ridiculous to require people to prove their citizenship when they vote? Is that what you're saying? You never said anything about black and brown people. Okay. So you said it's a poll tax if people have to get IDs. So for someone has to show ID to vote, you're saying that's a poll tax. So who exactly are these people that don't have driver's licenses and IDs? I'm just saying, is there a particular group, or is there like some part in your fucking brain that tells you nobody has driver's licenses? So you think that you would rather have illegal immigrants vote? Or do you believe that we can just trust illegal immigrants so much to not abuse the system? And isn't it funny how the illegal immigrants we're catching voting are all voting for Democrats? And I guess it's just a coincidence that it's fucking Democrats are the ones that are trying to block the act to make them prove identification. Like, this is crazy, bro. Alright, now Westminster, I do know your little tactics, what you're trying to do. So, I'm gonna give you one more chance, bro. I'll never ban somebody for disagreeing with my politics, but a lot of y'all little Democrat kids play little stupid games to try to discredit the host. Plus, I'm driving in a fucking parking lot, bro. You're derailing the conversation, and you're doing that on purpose because you're a Marxist. This is like a very common tactic that these guys use. This is for everybody else in the chat. He knows what he's doing. Right, Juanita, who is we? You go register to vote. So let's say I register to vote. So you're saying that when I go back to vote, I shouldn't have to prove that I am who I am. Is that what you're saying? So you're saying that you're okay with the possibility of me registering and someone using my information to vote, because they can if they don't have to prove that they're me. Right? So you're okay with somebody possibly being able to steal my ID and vote, because they don't have to prove citizenship. They don't have to prove anything. So an illegal immigrant, like what they were doing in California, the Democrats were paying homeless people and then giving them registered voters information. So then you're okay with people being able to steal your identification and vote using your info. Lou. Right, like that is listen, that is probably one of the worst arguments you could use. Like, dog, just because you registered to vote, that doesn't mean that someone can't steal your information. Actually, it's really fucking easy to take your information. You need their first and last name, and then you can make up an address. In California, you don't even have to sign a signature. You can use symbols. So people will take your name, they will use an address, and then they will put a smiley face in the signature box. Look it up. This is a fact. Westminster. Let me ask you a serious question. Just give me an objective answer, because I know none of these other people will. Me and you had a fair conversation about health insurance, so I still have a little faith in you. How many people do you know that don't have driver's licenses and don't have an ID, but that you would trust voting? How many of your friends don't have IDs or driver's licenses? Actually, that's what I should be asking, because apparently a lot of them need free IDs. I guess, how many of your friends, you said you're an accountant, so now I really don't believe you. You must work like 4 hours a week at a fast food restaurant if buying a $30 ID once every 6 years is unreasonable. Is that what you're saying? That's unreasonable to buy a $30 ID once every 6 years? Yeah, Lou. Listen, they did the same thing. Bro, the Democrats do it to themselves. They did it to fucking Hillary Clinton. When Hillary Clinton won, when Bernie Sanders won the election. Bernie Sanders won that primary, and I hate to let all my friends down in here, but I actually voted for Bernie Sanders. I used to be a libtard, as some may say. Yes, I was. And I voted for Bernie Sanders, and he won that primary. Same thing that happened with Biden. He won the primary, and then we woke up in the morning and Hillary was the candidate somehow. How the fuck does that happen? How the fuck is somebody up by like a ridiculous amount of votes, and then suddenly you wake up and they're not the candidate? Bernie Sanders got fucked. And you guys won't even call that out. That's how set you are on defending Democrats. That's what's so crazy. In the UK, you don't have ID cards. Oh, you use passports. Well, Westminster, honestly, getting a passport is way more expensive, and only a Nazi authoritarian dictator like Donald Trump would require something like that. Bernie Sanders isn't a liberal. Well, he's a socialist. He's about as far left. Well, nowadays, I guess he's moderate, but he's pretty far left, dude. And I said I was a liberal, not Bernie. Bernie is a fucking liberal. Socialism exists on the liberal side of politics in America. I don't know what country you're from, bro. Are you from a country that votes for gay Muslims? Like this guy? I just had to go water the flowers real quick there, fellas. So you guys are really set on this free ID. That's such a weird argument, honestly. Honestly, like, that shows me how desperate you guys are to defend Democrats when you're using pathetic arguments like that. Oh, making someone get ID is a poll tax. Who doesn't have ID? Is there anybody in this room that doesn't have ID? Is there anybody in this room that doesn't have a driver's license? Are there actually grown adults that for some reason can't get an ID? You don't have a fucking ID or a driver's license, bro? Oh my god. No wonder, dude. I didn't realize I was talking to one of those. Yo, that's crazy that they say that they would rather have illegal immigrants vote than make people buy IDs. Just standard state IDs. We're not even asking you to get some like special. You can't go to the bar. You can't buy alcohol with an ID. You can't buy cigarettes without ID. You can't go on planes without ID. You can't go to Zoran Mandani's grocery markets without an ID. But you do have to, but you don't need an ID to vote for Zoran Mandani. Isn't that crazy? You don't need an ID to vote for Zoran Mandani, which will impact the future of the city forever, potentially. But you do need ID to go buy a fucking cucumber from one of his grocery stores. And you guys don't see an issue with this. You guys don't see any flaws in this argument. Like, come on, man. It's like, yo, there comes a point where you guys are just being ridiculous. Dog, you're acting like we're asking for so much. Like, do you really think it's that big of a deal? Bro, I think that dude might have called the cops. Alright, we're going back to the hood, yo. Fuck that. What's up with these cocky ass rich people? These motherfuckers that call the cops all the time, these are the same people that think it's too much to get an ID to vote. They think that poor people are like can't afford $30 to fucking buy an ID. Is that you guys? Are you guys like these like spoiled rich kids that like think poor people can't get $30 to buy an ID? It's so bad that you need to give them one for free? Dude, if someone can't afford a $30 ID, I don't fucking want them voting. Like, what the fuck? Bro, ask me for $30. I'll get you a fucking... Matter of fact, I don't want you voting. I'm not gonna give you $30. If you can't get $30, and if you can't go to the DMV and buy a fucking ID, I definitely don't want you voting on the future of our country. You want someone making decisions on the future of our country who can't even go to the DMV and get a fucking identification card? So what do you think, like, we should just make them sign up on the spot? Yeah, we know that you're too retarded to go to the DMV and get a ID, so we set it up. We're just going to give you free ID cards right when you come in here to the voting booth. That is like the worst fucking argument you could possibly come up with. My bad, I know I'm missing a lot of comments, but I am driving, so I'm catching comments as I can. Unfortunately, Westminster and the same guy keep popping up. Dumbass questions, dumbass comments. So poll tag, you want to keep talking about poll tags? Honestly, guys, like, if you feel like it's that big of a deal to ask people to show a driver's license or an ID to vote, you're out of your fucking mind. And if you want to call it a tax, that's even more ridiculous. That just shows how desperate you are to defend Democrats. You will literally say anything. You guys will come up with any argument. So much so that you'll even come up with new phrases. Like this new poll tax thing. That's a new phrase that you and your friends got from CNN and all these liberal news stations. Because I hear all of you saying it all of a sudden. It's like a new thing. Oh, that's like a poll tax. No, that's like getting a fucking ID. That's it. That's what all responsible adults do. You need, first of all, to get an apartment and to pay a light bill, you need an ID. And if you have never paid a light bill and you never rented a damn apartment, I don't want you voting on the future of my country. If you have never paid a light bill and you can't get a fucking voter ID, I don't want you telling me how the economy works. If you can't get a fucking driver's license, I don't want you sitting here telling me about how educated you are and you're an accountant and all this shit. I don't want your advice. If you are too fucking retarded to get an ID, and if $30 is that is it even $30 to get an ID? I don't even remember. I just renewed my driver's license. I think it was free. Matter of fact, you like buy it once and then what? It's like $10 after that to renew it or some shit. And then so to use that and say that's a tax, no. A tax would be something that you have to pay every time you go to vote. An ID is an ID. You're buying the ID because you need ID. You're not paying to vote. Saying that it's a poll tax, that would suggest that you have to pay to vote. No, you have to buy an ID one time and then you can vote. You can vote in all the elections, local, state, federal, all of them. So suggesting that it's a poll tax, that would be suggesting that we're adding on an extra fee to every single election, which is not what we're doing, which would make you a fucking liar, or just like that pathetic that you just will say anything to defend Democrats, or you just repeat the shit that the other lefties say, which is, I think it's probably a little combination of all of them. But at the end of the day, this argument is always combined with disenfranchising black and brown voters. That's always what it is. Now you guys haven't gone that route because I cut it off before you could go there. I should have let you bring it up because I knew you would have. And then you would have probably brought up the thing about, oh, married women and shit like that. Actually, if you guys would have passed the voter ID, true ID, that's even better for married women because then they just have a PIN number. Then they would never have to, it wouldn't be an issue. You could get divorced and go vote the next day and change your name and everything because you have a PIN number. You don't need your name. Just show your ID, have your PIN number. But that was too much to ask for. Honestly, the true ID was a little pain in the ass, but I would have done it if it secured our elections. I didn't feel like it was totally necessary, however. He's saying, so a poll tax, that's, Reason is saying that making people buy an ID to vote, it's like making them pay a poll tax. It's like making them pay a tax to vote, essentially. And which is the most ridiculous argument. Because then basically he's saying we are taxing people to vote. We're not taxing people to vote. If we're taxing people to vote, then that means there's a tax every time you vote. No, you go and buy an ID, and then you're good. You can just vote everywhere. There's no tax. Once you bought your ID, you can vote for years and years and years. So you're telling me you got your whole life, you can't save up $30 fucking dollars? I really definitely don't want you voting. Really don't. You've never paid a light bill? You want to sit here and tell me about the economy? You never had a lease in your name? You're not, so you basically, mommy and daddy have done everything for you your entire life. And I'm supposed to take advice from you about the economy. I'm supposed to assume that you're going to make great decisions on the future of America. Like, are you guys serious? You got to be, I feel like you got to be trolling me or something at this point. That's ridiculous. Bro said buying an ID to vote. First of all, no one has to buy an ID to vote. You should already have a fucking ID. Everybody has an ID. And then y'all always use this argument about disenfranchising black and brown voters. Bro, I literally am around pretty much only black and brown people. Almost exclusively. Like, don't... But even my girl is half Hispanic. Everybody I know has an ID, bro. Nobody's been disenfranchised. Poll for the tax for the Polish. So all necessary documents should be free. Honestly, Reason, you're just a bum ass dude. That's a real issue for you. That's your own personal issue that you can't afford a driver's license. You really shouldn't be able to vote. I'm just being honest with you. If you can't afford a ID, if you don't have a driver's license, you can't even drive a car, bro. But you're supposed to decide the future of our country? Nah. Nah. No, that's your reason. He said even my girl is half Hispanic. That's like saying like all girls are half Hispanic. Oh, even my girl is half Hispanic. All girls are half Hispanic. You guys don't even have Hispanic people in the UK. You probably can't even speak Spanish. Oh, so you already have a driver's license. Was it free? Pro said, even my girlfriend is white and Hispanic. What does that mean? What the fuck? It's like, yeah, everybody's girlfriend is white and Hispanic, dude. Even mine is. Man, don't no real Hispanic women want some fucking feminine liberal dude like you. Fuck out of here. How did the soda tax... What happened with the soda tax, Vic? Don't worry about it, Paul. This isn't for you. This is for people that have half a functioning brain. Neanderthal Paul. Neanderthal Paul. Wait, what was the soda tax? Was that in New York? Wasn't that a New York thing? I remember. I remember in New York City they had a fucking shit. They had something about or you could only buy like liters of soda. You couldn't buy 2 liters or something. Westminster, that's only something somebody that gets no pussy would say. Paul, you came in here on some bullshit. What are you going on about? Holy cow. And then you're like, oh, why would you be mean to me? But baby, don't come in here on some bullshit. Fuck. Oh, I've never insulted you. What are you going on about? If you came in the room with a bad vibe, don't try to flip it around and now be a crybaby. I'll show you my face. Look at that beautiful face. Look at that beautiful face. Such a sweet Christian boy. Such a good Christian boy. Such a good Catholic Irish boy. Shit, I take the short bus to work. I can't get an ID. They're too expensive. You know what I mean? I can't get an ID. Fortunately, the Democrats in Pennsylvania let me vote. You know what I'm saying, Vic? Christian with no love for his neighbors. These guys always try to these guys really think I give a fuck about shit like that. It doesn't even make sense. No love for who neighbors? You're the one that thinks black people are too stupid to get an ID, not me, buddy. I'm not, you know what? And I'm not rage baiting. I'm just saying, why the fuck don't y'all want people to have ID to vote? Like, why are y'all so desperate to let illegal immigrants vote? That's not rage baiting. That's a real question. That's a real question. Why are the Democrats so against IDs to vote? You really think it's that big of a deal if someone can't get in? So you're saying if you don't give them a free ID? So, oh, you know what? I didn't even think about that. A reason, you don't even know what a straw man is. So you've been doing nothing but throwing straw man arguments out there. So here's a question, Reason. So you said that they need to make IDs free to vote if they're going to require them. So with that, you're saying that if IDs are not free, then they should let them vote anyway? Is that what you're saying? Okay, then Westminster, then we don't have a problem on his argument. This is the SAVE Act. The SAVE Act that I'm talking about right now, bro. The SAVE Act says we just want you to show ID when you vote. That's it. I'm not asking you to fucking pass the IQ test. I'm not asking you to solve some algebra problems to vote. I'm asking you to just get a fucking ID, bro. And these guys are acting like it's a poll tax. Come on, West. You got to see why we're tired of some of these motherfuckers, bro. When you came in here in the first place, I was objective. I was fair about the healthcare shit. I told you, bro. There's nothing I'm saying that's radical. There's no points of view politically I have that are far right or unreasonable. Requiring people to show ID when they vote is not unreasonable. We're just gonna throw that up in the background. There's my fake girlfriend. Man, his friend found his license in a Cracker Jack box. For real, he might as well at this point. They might as well at this point, Vic. I mean, they can use anybody's name to vote anyway, so for just to appease people like Reason and his Democrat friends, they should just put registered voters' information in Cracker Jack boxes so they could steal it and use that to vote. Since they don't have to use ID, let's just put registered voters' information in Cracker Jack boxes so you guys can just steal it and vote. Since you don't want to use ID to vote. Nah, alright, West, meet me halfway here, bro. If someone cannot get an ID, are they really someone that you would trust making decisions for the future of your country? For your country, for the UK. If someone is unable to get an ID, why? Why can't you get an ID? Why? What is holding you back from getting an ID? $30? Somebody look it up. Does it even cost that much? It's not an argument, bro. So that's what I'm asking. Why even free option for who? Why is it even an argument? Who needs free ID? Is there someone in the chat that can't get ID unless it's free? Wes, man, come on, meet me in the middle, bro. I know you ain't fucking retarded. I'm starting to lose a little faith in you, though. I mean, come on, bro. Sometimes we can agree on shit. Like, just because you guys are on the left, I'm on the right, it doesn't mean we have to disagree on everything. Like, so, all I'm saying is, we need to make it a law, a federal law, that you need ID to vote. And then you got guys like Reason saying it's a tax. Or then he's saying, well, no, it should be free to get an ID. Bro, Reason, if you can't get an ID without it being free, I don't want you voting. What do I think about Zionist overlords? Well, yeah. We ain't getting into all that shit. That's a whole nother conversation. I'll agree with you on some of it. I'll disagree on some of it. That's a whole... We can have that conversation another day. But we ain't doing that. That's why I put it's the Jews, because I know some of you motherfuckers just wake up thinking about the Jews. Doesn't matter. They have the right to vote. Who is they? So, okay, it doesn't matter. They still have the right to vote. Who is they? Reason? Just explain that. Who is they that you're referring to? You have issues where older people have issues with their passport or driving licenses expired. Yeah, so, well, that's what mail-in ballots are for. Mail-in ballots are for people that are disabled. So where the mail-in ballot system has been there forever, but when COVID hit, they made it for everybody. Mail-in ballots used to be for disabled people and for veterans that were overseas that still wanted to vote. They got mail-in ballots. So we already have a system to cater to people that are disabled. I don't want to leave people out that deserve to vote. Can you vote with an expired ID? No, you can't. You got to get it renewed. But you can do all of that through mail. Oh, okay, reason. So you already have an ID. So who are you referring to? Who is they? So when you said they still have the right to vote, who is they exactly? Because it's not disabled people. Because they can get that done through the mail. There's plenty of ways that they can update their ID. Once it expires, you can do it through the mail. Now, if they are that incapable of functioning that they can't update an ID, they probably shouldn't be living alone. That and plus, bro, you're talking about like 1% of the voter base. That so you would rather allow illegal immigrants to vote just to cater to like 0.2% of the population, who there's already a system in place to help. No, how do the mail-in ballot? Yeah, the mail-in ballots, you really don't need ID, bro. That definitely is a big issue. But mail-in ballots are similar, actually, especially during COVID. People were going to people's mailboxes, and you can look it up. There's cases going on right now. There's people that have pled guilty and been charged for stealing people's mail-in ballots and then going and voting with their name on it. And there's been a few cases, you can look this up. There was people that had their mail-in ballots stole, and someone used it to vote. Then they went into the polls to vote, and they didn't allow them to because somebody had already voted with their name. So they were saying, no, you already voted. They were like, no, I didn't. They're like, well, you sent a mail-in ballot. They were like, no, I didn't. So that mail-in ballot is a whole nother problem. Which that is a more the mail-in ballot thing is more nuanced to me than the SAVE Act. The SAVE Act is saying if you go into the voting booth, you need to show ID. Now some people will come in and say, well, you already showed ID when you registered. Oh, okay, great. So it shouldn't be that big of a fucking deal to show it when you go to vote. And if it is, then clearly you don't have an ID. But if you had an ID to register, then why don't you have one now? Are you not who you said you were? Are you here illegally and that's why you can't get an ID? Because why could you register to vote and you had an ID, but now all of a sudden you don't have one? You do a write-in vote for your friend every year. So, Now, is this an elder person or somebody that's disabled? Explain that one to me, Vic. Because to be honest with you, yeah, I really don't know a whole lot about the mail-in ballots. I know it definitely sounds a little... It's been abused. The system's definitely been abused. But I know it was for people that were disabled or for veterans that were overseas originally. And then they opened it up for COVID. And they were supposed to put it back to normal, and they never did. Because that's another thing. If the Democrats didn't have people stealing people's mail-in ballots, they wouldn't have won anyway. Alright, look, answer this. The point of the law is to make the vote have integrity, right? Then what's the problem with a free option? Alright, like, you guys are trying to split the argument somewhere else. It's like you're playing blackjack trying to split the cards. What's the problem with a free option? Well, fuck the free option. Do you think we should pass the SAVE Act so everybody has to show ID when we vote? Stop adding in all these little factors trying to like derail the conversation. Fuck all that shit. Show ID to vote when you register and when you go to the booth. That's it. I don't give a fuck what if free options or what. If you can't buy an ID, first of all, I think you're retarded. You actually literally are. Second of all, bro, show ID when you go to vote. You're saying all these things, well, it should be free. It should be free. So you're saying then basically, if it's not free to get an ID, then you just shouldn't need ID to vote? Is that what you're saying? Because if that's not what you're saying, then why even bring it up? All the elections were rigged. Yeah, hell, and all of them were rigged. You know, they're finding. It looks like Zoran Mandani had a lot of fucking illegal voters, a lot, and not just illegal immigrants either. People that were stealing people's information, people that double voted. That's another issue with ID. That's another issue with no ID when you vote. Is that you could go steal someone's information and vote with them, their information. You can vote with your information. You could steal his information. We have evidence and people that have been convicted of voting like 6-7 times. One guy voted 7 times for Democrats, obviously. And I'm sure there's been Republicans that have abused the system too. But the Republicans are the ones that are trying to pass the SAVE Act, not the Democrats. So even if there was Republicans doing the shit, we don't condone that. We're not trying to make excuses. That's the left that's trying to make excuses for it, not us. We're saying we don't want illegal immigrants to vote. We don't want people double voting and triple voting. We just want you to show an ID when you vote. And for some reason, that's like this huge deal to some people, which is crazy. All right, El Graf, come on. I ain't asking for a whole lot. That's funny, though. Graf, look. We can disagree on all type of shit. This isn't crazy. Maybe some of my shit is a little crazy. I can see how I get annoying sometimes. I ain't gonna lie. Yeah, these dudes are basically saying that if ID isn't free, then it's wrong to make people use ID to vote. They're basically saying you shouldn't have to show ID when you vote unless it's free, which is probably like the dumbest argument I've heard so far. Actually, I think it is the dumbest argument. You voted 3 times in London? I hope you're joking, bro. I hope you're not really doing shit like that, dog. I wouldn't do shit like that. I don't, no matter how bad I want my candidate to win, I'm not going to do some bullshit in voting. I'm not going to triple vote. I'm not going to steal people's information. If my candidate loses, he loses. But I want him to lose fair and square. I don't think that's that much to ask for. But apparently to some people it is. Okay, so then reason. So if it's not free, then they shouldn't require it at all, and we should allow illegal immigrants to vote. Correct? That's the most ridiculous thing ever. Are there people in the chat that feel like if ID isn't free, then we should just let illegal immigrants vote? Please tell me that he's the only person that believes that. Yo, Farmer. Come on, bro. This is what I'm saying. Like, this is so crazy. You can't go into a bar and buy 1 beer. You can't even drink 1 without an ID. And another thing you can't do without an ID is pay a light bill. And if you haven't paid a light bill, then I don't want to hear nothing about what you think about the fucking economy. You never put your name on a lease of an apartment at least, or bought a home. I don't give a fuck what you think about the economy. You never even paid a light bill. You're gonna tell me you wanna tell me how to run an economy? You wanna tell me about politics? You can't even pay a light bill? No, thank you, sir. You vote, yeah, Graf. I don't think that's that crazy. I don't think that's that crazy, girl. I ain't asking for a whole lot. I like picking topics like this because it kind of shows like who's willing to be objective and who's not. There's topics like this on the right, like the healthcare matter, when I do have some more left-leaning values. Unfortunately, Graf, You missed that part of the conversation when I was being a little more fair to you guys. You always pop up when I'm like in the most controversial moment, but I guess that's when the algorithm probably puts me out there more. So you said it was legal. I had my vote, a proxy vote, and a postal vote. Man, you ain't shit for that, bro. And the fact that that's legal, yeah, you're fucked. You're wrong for that, bro. I ain't gonna lie, like I just lost a lot of respect for you for that. And you're saying for the same person, you voted for one person 3 times. You're wrong for that, bro. Remember when Little League we tried to play fair and square? Yeah, I remember those days. Well, reason you brought it up as an argument. You still refuse to say that we should pass the SAVE Act. You can't say, yes, we should pass the SAVE Act. You literally said no, ID should be free. So now if you're changing your position, now change it. So if ID isn't free and you have to buy it, do you think that that's too much to ask for? To the point that we should leave it wide open so anybody can vote? And people like Westminster can vote 3 or 4 times? What's wrong is that you voted 3 times. For one person, are you saying? Or you voted in 3 different elections? You said you voted 3 times for one person. That's fucking wrong, bro. A friend was out of the country. He gave me his vote as a proxy. My other friend hadn't voted. Okay. But see, this is the type of shit that this is the slippery slope that we're concerned about. Because what you did now, it's not like you voted. It's not like you added a bunch of votes that person wouldn't have gotten. Like your friends would have voted for Democrat, Republican, Labor Party. I guess you support anyway. That's not a big deal. But now, if the laws over there allow you to just vote as many times as you want, and you could steal people's information, you don't think people are going to take advantage of that, bro? I mean, think of it. Think of that. Well, if you need ID, then how were you able to vote for 2 of your friends? Obviously, they weren't there to show ID. Or can you go in? Can you show their ID? Which would leave a window open for people to steal people's ID. Bro, you can't just vote for 3 people. What the fuck? So y'all got proxy voters. Oh my god. You know how easy shit like that is to rig? And of course the people that support shit like this are on the left. I'm sorry, Graf is in the room. I don't want to go there. Because that's my homegirl. It's just fucking coincidence, man. Just a weird coincidence. How these arguments always end up on the same side. Yes, Farmer, I fucking agree. The only votes that should count are the ones that you physically show up to vote for. Now, if you're serving overseas or if you're disabled, that's what the mail-in ballot voting system is for. Which needs to be exclusively for disabled people and veterans. Only. Having a voting proxy should not exist. That is ridiculous. And that leaves a window wide open for fraud. Voting fraud. Yeah, Tony, I might as well be a proxy for like my whole family. I'm going to go be a proxy for 20 people. That is crazy, bro. I mean, whether you agree with it or not, you could see how that leaves a door open for people to commit fraud, which I'm not surprised with, considering how far left the British government has gone. He had to leave the country as an emergency. For what? Was somebody going to kill him? Why would you have to leave the country in an emergency? Was he here illegally? What would you have to leave the country for an emergency for? If it's like a health emergency, how are you getting on a plane and leaving the country? And what, like you don't have hospitals in the UK or what? I need to hear what this emergency was all about. What's the amount of voter fraud we have? A fucking lot. Oh, like 200,000 fraudulent votes in California alone. 200,000, and they just started counting. We found 200,000 fraudulent votes in a state that won't even reveal their voter ballots. They won't even let us see their voter rolls. Why are they hiding their voter rolls? Yeah, we have an insane amount of voter fraud. And I know you're going to say, oh, there's no mass voter fraud. That's fine if you want to just deny it. There's court cases going on around the whole country, from Boston to California to Connecticut. Had a ton of them. Open cases, people that already got convicted. There was one, I think it was in Minnesota. It was a city councilman, like the head of the city council, and his wife were caught stealing votes. They voted for like 30,000 people. They got convicted. So if you don't call this mass voter fraud, then like what the fuck is? How many fucking fraudulent votes do you need to require it? Do you have like a set limit? Like, nope, 250,000, not enough. Nope, 500,000. It needs to be like 20 million fraudulent votes for you to consider it mass voter fraud. I mean, we had 10 million plus illegal immigrants in here, and we're not asking people to use ID to vote. So how the fuck do you know how many fraudulent votes there are anyway if people don't have to use ID to vote? So, Snark, so there are some mail-in ballots are good for some things, but they're not anymore because people found out how to how to scam the system using them. And it's unfortunate because mail-in ballots were a great thing for people that are disabled and people in the service that travel a lot. But now it's getting abused. People steal people's mail-in ballots, and then they fill their information out and go vote for them. And this is not uncommon. Like I said, city councilman, and I think he was in Minneapolis, or somebody fact check me exactly on what state. City councilman and his wife stole like thousands of mail-in ballots and filled them out and voted for their political party, the Democrats. No, I mean, Graf, at the end of the day, the people at the top are, the George Soroses, the Neville Singhams. But once you start allowing this shit to slide, that's when China starts creeping in, Russia. That's how these people are able to vote, when they don't need an ID to vote. They can send. Another thing China's doing now with the birth tourism, they'll have people come over here, have a child. That child will be a citizen of America. Then they move back to China, raise the child in China. Then they can come back here, get them into politics and everything. We've seen the mayor of Arcadia, California, pled guilty to being a Chinese spy. Mayor of a fucking city. Now, I think it was Republicans that fucking voted her in, allegedly. But they don't need ID to vote in California, so we don't really know who voted for her. And I have a hard time believing that Republicans would vote for a far-left candidate. But she was a Republican for the 2 years that she was spying. Then she immediately switched over to the Democrats, which I find is kind of interesting. And then she was arrested. So, I mean, it would appear that she's spying on Republicans for 2 years. Then switched over to the Democrats. And she was caught. And she pled guilty to being a Chinese spy. But I ain't even going to make this about Democrat Republicans in that particular case. I just want to use it more as an example of how deeply embedded this shit is in America. It goes way beyond the vote. And then we would start talking about birthright citizenship, which I know people have more valid arguments for that than they do for voter ID. The birth birthright citizenship, there's more valid arguments for that than this. But that is really fucked up too, now that we know that China is just coming over here. Chinese, and I love Chinese people, but the Chinese Communist Party, people from the CCP, come over here, have a child so it's an American citizen, raise them in China, then send them back here to go to college. They get into politics, and they're pleading guilty to these crimes. This is not a theory. You have to be blind or stupid to actually believe that there's no voter fraud. Nah, for real, bro. People like just intentionally look the other way. "60 court cases confirm the election was not stolen." What election is that? The problem is with the Japanese. What the fuck are you talking about? Bro said China isn't the problem. The problem is Japan. Okay. You have no business in this conversation, bro. Even if people on the left fucking think you sound retarded saying shit like that. Yeah, and you know what, dude? I don't care if 3 people vote for illegal. I don't care if 3 illegal immigrants vote. It's too many. I don't care how mass it is. I don't care how small it is. There's a wide open window, and in California, we already know of 200,000 fraudulent votes. Just in a one state, and it's just in the beginning of the investigation. We didn't even get started, and we already found 200,000 fraudulent votes, and they didn't even look at their voter rolls. Why are they hiding their voter rolls? What are they scared of us finding? Why is it such a secret to see who's registered to vote and who's not? As a Argin, what's an Argin? I shouldn't have to pay extra to vote. Yeah, no, you don't have to pay extra to vote. What the fuck are you talking about? Where are you getting your news? The Onion? What news? Should really be paying attention to how our taxes are being spent on vanity projects. Oh, like the ballroom. You should really pay attention to how stupid you sound when you try to change the subject. So that one guy was caught with 300 votes, not 300,000, was convicted for illegally collecting them. Okay. Republican or Democrat are 2 wings of the same. Yeah, it's like, you know, Farmer, like, in a sense, I do agree with that. But then in another sense, the Democrats are the ones that don't want IDs to vote. The Democrats are the ones that are trying to prevent the SAVE Act. The SAVE Act just says we want you to show ID when you vote. That's it. That's it. These people are saying shit like, I have to pay extra. No, you don't. If you don't have an ID, you don't have an ID, then you shouldn't be voting anyway. How fucking dumb are you? You can't get an ID. Please, don't vote. You need us to give you a free ID? How much of a bum are you? Not you, Farmer. Is that dude that said it's extra money. One guy was caught with 300 votes, not 30,000. Yeah. I knew I fucked the number up. You don't know shit about anything. Well, bro, what do you mean I don't know shit about anything? I'm literally the one who told you about that case. You literally didn't know shit about anything until I told you about it, and you looked it up. You should be thanking me for educating you, because without me, you wouldn't even know that happened. But please tell me how I don't know anything about anything. It's expensive to get birth certificates and marriage licenses. No, it's not. So, first of all, you don't need a marriage license. Bro, you don't need anything except a fucking ID and a driver's license. So if you're too broke to buy an ID or a driver's license, so I savor very, very, whatever, savory. So savory. So you're telling me you can't get an ID or a driver's license because it's too expensive? Is that the issue? I mean, do you need some money? I'll cash app you a couple bucks. Is it really that hard for you to get $20 to get an ID, bro? I fucked up the number. You're married. What does that have to do with anything? I didn't fuck the whole story up. I fucked the number up tremendously. But the whole story was perfect. I told the story exactly what happened. The number I fucked up though. That's why I asked, bro. I literally asked y'all to fact check me, and I said I'm probably fucking the number up. And you fact checked me, so thank you for doing that. I didn't fuck the whole story up. I told you exactly what happened. You're trying to do that to discredit me because you have no argument. Yeah, yo, farmer, this is what I'm saying. They said it's too expensive to get a birth certificate, and it's too expensive to get an ID. It's like, bro, you're a fucking loser, dude. Don't even, just stop commenting. If you are that much of a fucking bum that a goddamn birth certificate and an ID is too expensive, you're a fucking loser, dude. Your opinion has no weight here. Some places, some people don't have transportation. That's what that's what mail-in ballots are for. Do your homework. We had a flood like many others and lost everything. Bro, this dude is just saying anything. Like, these people will literally just say anything. Dude, we just want you to show ID to vote. And now you're making up all these variables. Oh, we had a flood, so now I can't get a birth certificate because it's too expensive. It is like, yo, you're just making so many excuses. So all right, so let me ask you a question at Savory. So you think that we shouldn't have to show ID to vote then? That's what you're saying? Because it's too expensive and it's too hard to get ID? So you just don't think we should have to show ID to vote? You shouldn't even have to prove that you're a citizen to vote? Oh, let me guess. You show your ID when you registered. Then why don't you show it when you fucking vote? If you already had the ID when you registered... Oh, my bad. I forgot. Your house got ripped apart by a tornado. Yo. Oh, my God. No, he didn't ask you guys to throw the votes out. He asked to show the voter rolls. He asked to show the voter rolls, and for some reason they wouldn't show the voter rolls. Did Georgia ever release their voter rolls? I don't care about the poor. What the fuck are you talking about, bro? You're probably some rich, spoiled little brat. You don't even come from the hood, bro. The fuck out of here. Fucking dork. Oh, you don't even care about the poor. How do you know I didn't grow up poor? Where'd you grow up, bro? How do you know I didn't grow up on Medicare, EBT, in a drug-infested environment? How do you know? What have you been through that qualifies you to talk about poor people? We don't need you advocating for us, bro. Remember, we're the ones that you call uneducated and shit like that. Stop acting like you advocate for us. You don't. I don't care about the unmotivated either, farmer. If you are that unmotivated that you won't even get a birth certificate and an ID, I don't want you voting. And I agree. Anyone who tries to better himself deserves help. And there are people in fucked up situations that need help too. There's people that are disabled. There's people that's house did get ripped out of the ground by a tornado. I'm not saying fuck them. I'm not saying fuck them. But I'm saying, so your house got ripped out of the ground by a tornado, so now you can't get ID and a birth certificate ever? Bro, you know what? I'll be forgetting that some of y'all are just, not you, farmer, obviously. I'll be forgetting that we got kids like Savory that are just rich, spoiled brats, never had to go through any struggles. So I got to break shit down to them that normally I wouldn't have to break down to people that are humble people. So when I came home from jail, I'm sure you'll judge me for that. Well, I lived in a drug-infested neighborhood, no fucking opportunities, fucked up ass family, and I was in the streets when I was younger. So you could judge me and call me uneducated like you do for the working class you claim to advocate for. But I did, and when I came home from jail, I lost everything. I didn't have a birth certificate, social security card, ID, nothing. I literally had absolutely nothing. Nothing. Made it happen. I got in contact with New York City. I was born in New York City. I got in contact with the hospital. Do you think it's hard for the people in the country to get an ID? Imagine if you were born in New York City, in like a hospital that births thousands and thousands and thousands of children every year. So I had to go through New York City's system to get my social security, my birth certificate, all that. It took forever. It took like a fucking year. And then I went and I voted for Obama. So maybe that'll make you feel a little better. Voted for him twice. And I voted for Bernie Sanders. And now I'm looking at it like, wow, these people are fucking insane. They will literally say anything to continue letting these illegal immigrants vote. They'll literally say anything. This Democrat Party that you're standing up for, that's not the Democrat Party I used to vote for. It's not. Even, and a lot of people also that say Obama's the worst president ever. I later on I get that he got compromised. But go look at the things Obama was talking about when he first ran for office. His intentions in the beginning were good. And like him and Trump would have agreed on fucking like everything almost. Obama came in with good intentions. I really believed that. And I really believed in him when I voted for him. I think he got compromised somewhere along the line. And that's why they, his chef, you remember when Obama's chef mysteriously drowned in like 3 feet of water with the Secret Service watching? Do y'all remember how Obama's chef, who was like a professional swimmer, he was such a good swimmer, he actually posted videos online of him swimming. And somehow he drowned in like 3 feet of water right behind Obama's house with the Secret Service watching. So there was some weird shit going on with Obama. But I supported him. I voted for him. And I had to get my birth certificate, my social security, everything. I came home with jail with absolutely nothing. And I'm sure all the kids in here judge me for it and all that. But then simultaneously tell us how you support, inmates. We want to free the jails. We support the working class and the poor. Oh, what about the poor people? Yeah, what about us? Fuck you talking about, man? It's like you guys don't even know what type of person you're talking to. You assume you do. And that's how I could tell you don't really know shit about being poor. You don't know shit about coming from a struggle. You don't know shit about the inmates you're trying to release from prison. I know, I do. And trust me, you do not want these motherfuckers coming home. Trust me. You vote for a DSA, that's what they want to do is abolish the jails, basically. They don't want prisons. So this goes beyond Democrats now, because the DSA is a whole nother beast. I'm bring back the old Democrats, even the radical ones, bring them back. Bro, the DSA wants to abolish ICE. It's a bunch of immigrants that want to abolish immigration enforcement. They want to defund the police. They want to end the prison system and just only have like programs to help people recover. Pedophiles, rapists, woman abusers, murderers. They don't want prisons for those people. They want recovery programs. And then they don't want to make people show ID when they vote. You should not have to show them birth certificate along with ID. Yeah, you don't. You don't have to show them your birth certificate. Literally, all we're asking, the SAVE Act doesn't say you have to show a birth certificate, bro. It just says you have to show ID. Why is that so complicated? You definitely shouldn't be voting. Yo, and look, Graf is on the left, but that's my homegirl, and I love her. And we can disagree on some shit, but when it like common sense shit like this, we agree. I know she agrees with me on this. All these arguments are such bullshit. Oh, it's too hard to get a birth certificate. I'm telling you, I didn't even have a social security or a birth certificate or an ID or anything. I came home from jail with absolutely nothing. I was a fucking scumbag, drug dealer, drug addict. I didn't do shit but chase girls around and like, fuck, I was a loser. And I still was able to get a birth certificate and a social security card and an ID to vote. And I voted for Obama. So you can say whatever you want about me. I don't give a fuck. As fucked up as I was, a fucking drug addict, convict, coming home from jail in a halfway house, like ready to blow my head off, I was still able to get a birth certificate, bro. Or ma'am. Nah, I know you are. I know you are, Graf, and I'm with you on a lot of shit too. Believe it or not, I know a lot of times when I'm talking, I be going kind of like for the more radical shit. But even we were talking about healthcare earlier. I'm like not even totally against you guys on the healthcare thing. I think it's a nuanced topic we should talk about more. I'm not all the way on the right, but I'm not all the way on the left either. But I got your back too, girl. No, the SAVE Act does not say you need a birth certificate. The SAVE Act says you need an ID. That's it. Just show your ID. Anyway, why is it that hard for you to get a birth certificate? Even if it did say that, it's still not asking for too much. But it literally doesn't say that. You just got to show your ID. You just got to show, hey, look, I'm not an illegal immigrant. I'm not stealing somebody's information. I am who I say I am. Here's my ID. That's it. That's not a lot to ask for. Go and vote Obama or we get haunted. Yo, bro, I swear to God, they made it sound like if we didn't vote for Obama, they were just gonna come through and eradicate the black community and shit. I bought it too. I bought it. I lived in the hood when we voted for Obama. I was like, oh yeah, they ain't gonna kill my people. We voting for Obama, dog. No, they ain't wiping my people out. We gotta get Obama in office. And now I see him still using those same arguments. These people are literally telling you that they're gonna start deporting black people if you vote for Trump. Like, how crazy are these people? Black people helped Trump get voted in. And I'm sure that he wants his people to get voted again. If he starts deporting black people, nobody's gonna I'm not gonna vote for him. I'm not gonna vote for anybody that starts deporting black people. I'm also not gonna vote for someone that just unleashes the prisons so all the killers and rapists can come back to the black community and fuck it up. You keep them motherfuckers in jail. We're trying to restore the community. We can't do that if y'all are voting for the DSA. This is not the Democrat Party. This is a whole different party, and they're using the Democrat Party to run underneath. This is a whole nother beast we're dealing with now. And unfortunately, a lot of these Democrats, now, because DSA has so much movement amongst the young people, the college kids and people that never paid a light bill, have no life experience doing anything. That's who the DSA is catering to. And the Democrats see that and they're like, fuck, we kind of got to lay down for them. Bernie Sanders set the trend, and that's why they didn't let him become president. If Bernie Sanders wasn't fucked over in 2016, if they didn't fuck Bernie Sanders over, he probably would have become president, not Trump. Trump might have never become president if they didn't flip Hillary out. They fucked Bernie Sanders. Bernie Sanders won that primary. Everybody who's a Democrat knows it. A good majority of us voted for him. And then we woke up in the morning and Hillary Clinton was mysteriously the candidate somehow. It sounds kind of familiar to some other scenarios, but that's another conversation. It sounds actually familiar to this last election when Democrats voted for Joe Biden to be the candidate. And then they just woke up one day and Kamala was the candidate. Said, yeah, we know that you guys voted for Joe, but he's just like too retarded, so just vote for Kamala. And everybody was like, all right, cool. No problem with that. Yeah, that's the second time you guys fucking said we can't vote. These are the things that made me start walking away from the Democrat Party. I didn't just like wake up one day and was like this hardcore Trump supporter. I actually fucking hated Trump. Probably more than a lot of you guys that don't like him. I swear to God. If you go through my Facebook feed in like 26, bro, I was like anti-Trump completely. I really was. After I started losing faith when they did that bullshit with the primary, when they swapped Bernie out for Hillary, I really started losing faith in them. And I was looking around like nobody was really complaining. A couple people were upset about it, but I was really upset. I'm like, nah, I know Hillary did not win that fucking primary. Bernie won that fucking primary. And I was so excited to wake up in the morning and see Bernie's name on the card. And it said Hillary. I'm like, nah, no way. No fucking way. And then Bernie goes and does this like fake ass endorsement. He looks all sad and frustrated. He was like, yeah, guys, vote for Hillary. I'm like, nah. Because Bernie has that energy. That energy that he had when he endorsed Hillary was not the same, man. I mean, I don't know. Like, what do y'all think? Like, anybody on the left? Is there anybody on the left that at least could agree with me on that? That they fucked Bernie because they knew that I believe they knew he was going to usher in a new form of the Democrat Party, which actually, I think maybe what Bernie ushered in is more radical than I think we had anticipated. A lot of people just make excuses anymore. It's a big problem, bro. Huge problem. Personal accountability and responsibility. That's it. Responsibility, accountability. That's it. If you tell me that you can't get a birth certificate and your life is so hard, you can't get an ID and it's getting birth certificate. My life is so hard that I can't get a birth certificate. Don't give me that shit. I came home from jail with nothing, in a fucking halfway house, wanting to knock my head off with no social security card or birth certificate or ID, and I got them all in time to vote for Obama. How is that possible? I thought it was so hard. I would vote for a qualified woman candidate. Yeah, I would too. There's a few women that actually I would really like to see them become president. I really like Tulsi Gabbard. I really fuck with Tulsi. I think she's awesome. And she is an old school Democrat. People won't admit that because she switched over to the Republicans. But if you look at her values, even just look at the way she carries herself, she really is an old school Democrat. I really like Tulsi. And I would really like to see the Democrat Party come back to what they were. Bill Clinton's name got disgraced. Probably, rightfully so. But if you looked at when Bill Clinton did a speech and he was speaking to the whole House, the Democrats, Republicans, everybody stood up and clapped for him. Everybody respected him. He wasn't saying a bunch of radical shit about sex changes for kids and, all these like little code words for abortion, like freedom and reproductive rights and all that shit. Like, just say it. It's abortion. That's what you're talking about. Reproductive rights. Ending a life in your stomach is not reproductive rights. That's actually the opposite, right? Reproduction is creating a life. Having an abortion is literally the opposite. But they knew that using the word abortion all the time would be, they couldn't win an election like that, so they had to call it. Remember, they were calling it freedom. Remember when Kamala Harris started coming out on the stage and they were playing Beyonce Freedom as code for abortion? I mean, they've gone so crazy. It's like some of the shit I just can't get behind. It doesn't mean I agree with the right on everything either. I don't always. Baron von Trumpsky. But no, I thought Hillary was a terrible candidate. I think Kamala Harris was a terrible candidate. Had nothing to do with them being women. And there's a lot of women out there that I would vote for and that I would be proud to have as a president. But I'm not gonna vote for someone because she's a woman. There's other women too. There's like some local, like city council women, and there's some people that I really like that I would like to see get in bigger positions. That woman in Chicago, that black woman, she's a fucking badass, and I wish I could remember her name. But she just got in. She's running for a seat in a local government in Chicago. Does anybody remember her name? Man, that girl kicks ass, dude. I will vote for her for president. I'm not gonna just vote for anybody, but I will vote for her. I'll vote for Tulsi. The girl in Chicago, I gotta see more from her, but her attitude is awesome, man. She does not fucking play. Yeah, unfortunately, Graf, it does seem like the Democrat Party is cooked. Tulsi was a cult member who took orders from her guru. See, come on now. That's absolutely ridiculous. And then you say that we're the ones that have a problem with women. No, it's actually people like yourself that don't want to see women win. Unless they like are a Democrat and that's it. They just have to be a Democrat. Value wise, you can't tell me one thing that Tulsi supports that you don't. Not one. Prove me wrong. You just call her a cult member because she sided with Trump. Because she's seen how corrupt the Democrat Party was becoming. And here's another thing you guys can't deny. The only way you could deny what I'm about to tell you is if you're a liar. Big Pharma has completely taken over the Democrat Party too. Top 3 Big Pharma donation recipients ever in American history in politics. Kamala Harris is number 1. Joe Biden is number 2. Obama is number 3. I was actually hurt to see Obama on the fucking list. No candidate, no politician, ever in American history has received more Big Pharma money than Kamala Harris and Joe Biden and Obama. So that's another reason I can't support them. And these are the people that were pushing the vaccine. I'm not an anti-vaxxer, but that's another can of worms I don't want to open right now. I don't want to get too sidetracked. Old school Democrats like the people that fucked over Bernie. No, those weren't old school Democrats. That's when George Soros started gaining motion. That was the Hillary Clinton is not Bill Clinton. Not at all. And then after they fucked Bernie over, he gave up on the party. He went and fucking started taking money from Big Pharma and he changed. And now Bernie's compromised and he's pushing all these radical candidates. And I think a lot of it has to do with him being resentful towards his own party. So you're trying to discredit what I'm saying using Bernie as an example. Those weren't the old school Democrats. Reason, you must be young, aren't you? Dude, seriously, you need to read up on what Tulsi Gabbard has been up to. No, that's not really like an answer to my question. Alright, Farmer, you have a good night, brother. Good talking with you, man. Subscribe to the channel. Pull up anytime you want. Say Google Tulsi and cult. So basically, like, intentionally Google some biased. So instead of Google Tulsi and cult. Oh my god. Oh my god. First of all, I can't Google because I'm on my live stream and it'll shut down the stream. So why don't you just say it? No, I'm definitely not the only person that supports her. Tulsi is fucking awesome. That is an excuse. Alright, yeah, I'm not gonna run circles around with you. AC, I don't know. I definitely want to go up there, like try to get into the casinos a little earlier. I really want to see if I can get my camera into the baccarat table or craps or something. You know what my problem is, bro? Every time I go to AC, I'll go and I'll play some games for a little bit, and then I'll go smoke a blunt, and I'll just be like, I don't feel like going back in. It's like the second time I did that on live too. I need to go in and like really have a session. No, Savory, maybe well, I'm just gonna repeat myself one time for you. I don't feel like saying it again because this is the third time. I'm on a live stream, so if I open up Google, it shuts down the live, which means mine and your conversation ends. But you're saying since you can't just answer a fucking question, then I should just end the live to appease you? I'm being nice to you because you and Graf are cool. That's it. Okay, alright, get more educated. Good, great argument. Nah, reason, Tulsi, the fuck is that? It's like a minivan with all type of ground effects on it. Weird. No, there's no reason to say that Tulsi is crazy. Like, Tulsi is just very common sense. And she really stays out of the way. I think she had a baby or something. Did she? Yeah, I think she had a baby. That's why she stopped. That's why she stepped down. Well, obviously, I don't know the details if you don't fucking say anything. Look at these vague comments. Look at these fucking vague comments. You don't know anything. Guy reads Fox News. Go Google it. Like, you guys can't even answer a basic question. Sad. It's sad, but that's kind of the state of the left. Graf, get your people. Graf, come get your people, girl. Come get your people, girl. Savory, you had a chance. I gave you a chance. I'm good on you. I'm all good on you. How the fuck is this say I've been on live for 37 minutes, bro? I've been on this drawing for like 3 hours. Well, Tulsi met. She met with the Syrian, the leader of Syria. And I'm trying to remember why she did that. I remember hearing that and I thought it was pretty strange. But then when I looked up why, it wasn't that crazy. It had something to do with her position, why she had to meet with him. And the other people who had held her position in the past had met with him also. Alright, Reason, now you acting like a little bitch. I'm gonna put you on a 24 timeout. Come back tomorrow when you get the sand out of your pussy. Hey, since we only got 2 people that are dick riders, and Graf, but Graf is over there trying to chill and fucking. And then we got Savory here who just wants to make vague statements and can't actually even like back up anything or bring anything valuable to the table. But it has been nice talking to you guys. Graf, holla at your boy. I love you, girl. Even if you vote for the Democrats, you know I got you. Hey, I'ma holla at y'all though.